everybody, I'm Will and this is Downtime Activities, and today we're gonna talk about something that gets brought up in tabletop RPGs as sort of a cardinal sin of playing, and that's kind of a shame because what it's doing is taking away what I think is honestly a pretty valuable storytelling tool. So today we're gonna talk about splitting the party. It's often quoted as the first rule of the Adventurer's Handbook. Right up there alongside always target the caster and healer and check every door for traps. Breaking this rule is considered a tabletop RPG cardinal sin. Never split the party. Let's change that. Splitting the party is quite simply sending some of the team members away on one task or even off on their own adventure and the rest of the party off on something else. 2 branches in the dungeon? Why not have the rogue and the fighter head this way and the wizard and the ranger go that way? You've got multiple leads to track down on this culture chasing? Hit 2 of them at the same time on opposite sides of the city, or have your rogue infiltrate the cult's warehouse while the rest of the party hits the cult's hired ship in the harbor. The reason that splitting the party is something of a cardinal sin is entirely for statistical reasons. If a combat breaks out, the rogue walks by himself into a fight the game master intended for the whole party, gets killed easily, and bad feelings ensue. It doesn't even take all that much for this to happen either. Action economy is an extremely powerful thing in almost any tabletop RPG, and splitting the party can make this much worse. There are good reasons to split the party, however, and an easy way to get around this statistical issue. And honestly, all of this is essentially summed up in what is more or less the Downtime Activities' core tabletop RPG philosophies. Make story-driven decisions, and don't be a dick. First, splitting the party is an interesting story thing to do. Whether it's the party splitting up to chase more leads at once, or one or more party members splitting off to pursue an adventure on their own or to get into trouble on their own. The idea of this desperate band of adventurers sticking together literally always, no matter how weird it is, for them all to tag along together is sort of weird. I totally understand a cautious party that sends multiple people along to make sure somebody's watching someone else's back, but a lot of party members aren't that cautious type. And even when parties are that cautious, there are still plenty of interesting story moments and good story reasons to split the party. Second, you can easily run entire adventures with the party split, or have some of the members of the party go off into another part of the kingdom to pursue their own quests away from the party as a whole, and run those players through their own game sessions. Matt and I are big fans of running side sessions with players when possible. It helps keep a single player from just dominating entire sessions of your campaign and leaving everyone else bored. This happens anyway from time to time, and with a brutal reliance on never splitting the party, it just means that the rest of the players get dragged through something they're not really interacting with. It's important to avoid hurt feelings in all of this, however. If players at your table get sad or annoyed that they weren't part of a side session, even though it's not part of their character's story, you should probably avoid it or try and run the same number of side sessions with each player to give each a chance to shine. The nice thing about running these side sessions, letting players split the party like this, is that it helps broaden out each character, and gives characters the options to keep secrets from other members of the party. As always, there should be consequences, good or bad, to every action, and things should be remembered. The rogue's lone assassination mission, the cleric's pilgrimage, the barbarian's heroic combat against his sworn foe, the wizard hunting down a forbidden spell. All of this should come back around later in the campaign, as certain NPCs remember the actions of a particular character, or the world alters in response to their actions. Now, as far as dealing with the statistical issue, this is advice for the game masters out there. Really, it's summed up as don't be a dick. If characters want to split the party and want to go off on their own adventures, and it makes good story sense to do so, or it makes the story more interesting, don't punish that. Let downed characters get captured instead of killed where it makes sense, and tone down your encounters so that it's not impossible for a smaller party to complete it. Game masters who plan everything out and rigorously stat out every encounter in advance and refuse to ever stray from their notes are usually not very good game masters. Plan stuff out in detail, sure, but you need to be willing to alter your plans when the players do something unexpected. Players don't like to be railroaded in most circumstances, and don't like feeling like they don't get any say in what's happening. The last thing you want is for a player to feel like you killed their character just to make a point about straying away from your story. or to enforce some sort of bullshit, statistically optimized and ruthlessly planned campaign. Give players the freedom to go off on their own, or run little encounters or quests without the whole party present. Obviously, you're not going to run the entire campaign this way. The players shouldn't assault the main keep of the villain one by one. That's a fight that should take all of the players working together. And some of the big set-piece battles aren't going to be built for single players or even half of the party. That's fine. Most of the time, it's pretty obvious to players what encounters are the big deal ones, the ones that are going to take everyone to win. Most of your quests and most of your encounters are going to be done with the whole party. Splitting the party should still be somewhat rare, but don't ruthlessly enforce the idea that the players should never split the party. Give your players the option from time to time to pursue their characters' goals and quests, even without the rest of the party, or to set off on their own and investigate a lead. Don't go out of your way to punish a split party. For us here at Downtime Activities, the main goal is to tell a good story and have fun. Needlessly punishing players doesn't contribute to either of these goals. Well, that has been our video splitting the party and why you should honestly do it a little more often. If you like this type of stuff, we have a lot of video series here on the channel in a very similar vein. The bonus action podcast series are just kind of long-form discussions about storytelling and sort of running the game in a little bit of a mechanical sense, but just in a sort of broader character and DM-driven sense. As well as the help action, which goes over very niche rules within the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition system, breaking them down and how they actually work, how to implement them into your games, and the stuff that you should probably just ignore. We also have lots of gameplay and reviews, and if you feel like checking any of that out or leaving a comment or liking this video, that really helps us out because we're a tiny little channel. As always, go forth, slay dragons, sling spells, roll dice, and enjoy your downtime activities.